Hi children, how are you? Welcome to Anshu's library. Today's topic is about crop production and management. So this is one of the important topic in 8th class biology. This is chapter 3. So let's start the class crop production and management. So first of all, what is meant by a crop? So when plants of the same kind are cultivated at one place on a large scale, it is called a crop. So crop means simply one kind of plants are cultivated in a particular place on a large scale is simply called crop. India is a vast country. The climatic conditions like temperature, humidity and rainfall vary from one region to another region. So we know that the South Indian climatic conditions are vary from North Indian climatic conditions, and at the same time the Northeast climatic conditions are vary from Northwest climatic conditions. So it resulting rich variety of crops grown in different parts of our country. Just look at those different varieties. So mainly there are two types of crops, Kharif crop and Rabi crops. Kharif crops, the crops which are sown in the rainy season are called Kharif crops. The rainy season in India is generally from June to September. Example, paddy, maize, soybean, groundnut and cotton are Kharif crops. So these type of crop varieties which are grown in rainy season from June to September. And coming to Rabi crops, the crops which are grown in winter season, that is from October to March, are called Rabi crops. Just look at the examples of Rabi crops: wheat, gram, pea, mustard, linseeds, which are all examples of Rabi crops. And beside this Kharif and Rabi crops, pulses and vegetables which are also grown in summer at many places. So these are different types of crops. And coming to the practices, the following are the best practices of crop production. The first step is preparation of soil, and the next one is sowing, and then adding manure and fertilizer, and then irrigation and protecting from weeds, harvesting, and finally storage. So these are all the best practicing methods for production of a crop. Just look at the first step, that is preparation of soil. First, before going to the crop cultivation, we should prepare the soil. So one of the most important tasks in agriculture is turn the soil and loosen it. So whenever the soil becomes loosened, which allows the roots to penetrate deep into the soil. So the loosened soil allows the root to breathe easily. So this is also one of the advantages, and the loosened soil helps in the growth of earthworms and microorganisms which are present in the soil. So this is one more advantage of the loosened soil. Just look at the image. So by using farm animals, the soil becomes loosened, and these organisms are friends of the farmers since they further turn and loosen the soil and add humus to it. So these earthworms and microorganisms which are all friends of the farmers. So these organisms which turn and loosen the soil and add humus, that is organic substance or manure to the soil, thereby increasing the fertility of the soil. So whatever the process of loosening and turning of the soil is called tilling or ploughing. So the process of loosening of soil is nothing but ploughing. And hoe, it is a simple tool which is used for removing weeds and for loosening the soil. Hoe is the tool which is used for removing weeds and for loosening the soil. And coming to the cultivator, nowadays ploughing is done by tractor driven cultivators. The use of cultivators save labor and time also. And just look at the images. The first image is hoe. This is a tool for the removal of weeds. These type of tools are used in the agricultural fields. And coming to the tractor. So by using these nowadays by using these type of tractors, the soil becomes loosened. And the next one is sowing. Sowing is one of the important part of crop production. Before sowing, good quality, clean and healthy seeds of good variety are selected. Sowing means seeding. So and mostly farmers prefer to use seeds which give high yield, means high production. So traditional tools are the tools used traditionally for sowing seeds is shaped like a funnel. Just look at the image. So this is the traditional method of sowing. So here this is a funnel and this is pipeline. and there are sharp edges near the base. So these seeds are entered into the funnel and incorporated through this pipe, and these seeds are incorporated into the soil. So this is a traditional method of sowing. And then seed drill. So nowadays the seed drill is used for sowing with the help of tractors. This sows the seeds uniformly at equal distance and depth. So just look at this image. So this is seed drilling. So by using this machinery, so at a equal distance, at a equal depth, the seeds are drilled into the soil. And coming to the next step, that is adding manure and fertilizer. We know that the substance which are added to the soil in the form of nutrients for the healthy growth of plants are called manure and fertilizer. So manure is an organic substance obtained from decomposition of plants or animal waste. So simply the plant waste and animal waste is nothing but manure. Manure is organic substance. And coming to the fertilizers are chemicals which are produced in factories. Some examples of fertilizers are potash, urea, ammonium sulfate, superphosphate, NPK, that is nitrogenous, phosphorus, potassium fertilizers. The use of fertilizers has helped farmers to get better yield of crops such as wheat, paddy and maize. So these type of fertilizers which increases the crop yielding capacity. But excess use of fertilizers has made the soil less fertile. It means by using excessively these fertilizers in the agricultural fields, what would be happen, which decreases the fertility of the soil. And then another method of replenishing the soil with nutrients is through crop rotation. Very important, crop rotation. This can be done by growing different crops alternatively. It means we can select different type of crops alternatively. We cannot choose only one type of crop continuously. So the next one is advantage of manure. The organic manure is considered better than fertilizers. So definitely the organic manure is better than fertilizer. This is because it enhances the water holding capacity of the soil. It makes the soil porous. By using this manure, the soil becomes porous, due to which exchange of gases become very easy. And then it increases the number of friendly microorganisms, that is earthworms. It improves the texture of the soil. So these are all the advantages of manure. And the next step is irrigation. So the supply of water to crops at regular intervals is called irrigation. So the supply of water to crops at regular intervals is called irrigation. So the time and frequency of irrigation varies from crop to crop, soil to soil and season to season. We know that. And coming to the methods, traditional method of irrigation, the water available in wells, lakes and canals is lifted up by different methods in different regions for taking it to the fields. Cattle or human labor is used in these methods. So just look at these traditional ways. The first one is pulley system, that is moat, and chain pump, and detli and rahat, that is lever system. These are all the traditional ways to supply water to the agricultural fields. And coming to the modern methods of irrigation help us to use water economically. So by using these modern methods, definitely we can save the water. The main methods used are as follows. The first one is sprinkler system. So this system is more useful on the uneven lands where sufficient water is not available. So sprinkler is very useful for lawns, coffee plantation and several other crops. Just look at the image. So the first image is sprinklers. So these are sprinklers. First of all, from a main pipeline, there are so many perpendicular pipelines are arranged, and from a main pipeline, the water is pumped from the underground system, and these pipelines from the main pipeline, the water is supplies into the perpendicular pipelines, and here they are sprinklers. The water is sprinkled throughout the lawn or throughout the crop fields. So these are, just look at the next system, next modern method, that is drip system. In this system, the water flow falls drop by drop directly near the roots. So it is called drip system. It is best technique for watering fruit plants, gardens and trees. Just look at the image of drip system. So this is drip irrigation. Here the pipelines are arranged near the roots of the plant. So here directly the water is fall drop by drop at the roots of the plant. So here the water is not wasted. So that is the drip system, and this is also one of the best technique for watering gardens and trees and fruit plants. And then in a field many other undesirable plants may grow naturally along with crop. So along with crop there are so many undesirable plants which are grown, so they are called weeds. So the removal of weed is called weeding. The removal of weeds is called weeding. So weeds are controlled by using certain chemicals called weedicides. And then the next step is harvesting. The cutting of crop after it is mature is called harvesting. Simply the cutting of crop after it is mature is called harvesting. It usually takes 3 to 4 months for a cereal crop to mature. Harvesting in our country is either done manually by sickle. So in our country the harvesting is done by sickle or by machine called harvester. In the harvested crops, the grain seeds need to be separated from the chaff. This process is called threshing. So in a harvested crop, the grain seeds need to be separated from the chaff. Chaff means husk. The husk which is surrounding the seed. That process is called as threshing. The grain seeds need to be separated from the chaff. That process is called threshing. And just look at this harvesting machine to harvest the crop. And this is a winnowing machine. Farmers with small holding of lands do the separation of grain and chaff. Grain and chaff means husk which is coated around the grain. So by using this winnowing machine, look at this winnowing machine. So this is a funnel like structure. So by adding these grains into this funnel, so what would be happen? The chaff, the husk is removed. So that machine is called as winnowing machine. And coming to the next step, that is last step, storage. If the harvested grains are to be kept for longer time, they should be safe from moisture, insects, rats and microorganisms. And we know this, the harvested grains have more moisture content. These fresh grains have more moisture contents. So the first step is the grains are properly dried in the sun to reduce the moisture in them. This prevent the attack of insect, pest, bacteria and fungi. Farmers store grains in jute bags or metallic bins. However, large-scale storage of grains is done in silos and granaries to protect them from pests like rats and insects. So, for all the best practices of crop production, thank you. I hope you understand this class. If you want to see more videos in my channel, subscribe to my channel. Thank you.